Hello, this is going to be a quick review of graphing transformations. So the first transformation we're going to review is our vertical translations. And this happens when we take a function. So our new function is going to be called h, and our original function is going to be called f of x, and we are going to add a number on the outside. So let's say we have f of x, our parent function, is equal to x squared. Then we have a parabola. If, on the other hand, we have h of x is equal to x squared plus 1, our parabola is going to be shifted upwards 1 unit. And if we have h of x equals x squared minus 1, then our parabola will be shifted down 1 unit. So when we add or subtract a number outside our function, it moves the graph up or down depending on if we're adding or subtracting. The next type of transformation to review is the horizontal translation. So this is when we're going to be moving left or right. This time, we add the number inside our function. Horizontal transformations usually happen with things that are happening inside our function. The x direction is horizontal. Things that are closer to x are going to adjust the x direction. So again, let's say f of x, our parent function, is x squared. Our graph just has the parabola centered at the origin. If instead we have h of x, x plus 1 squared, we might think that it's going to move to the right because it's a plus sign, and plus is the positive direction. But that's not true. Things that happen inside are often opposite to what we expect. So this case is going to move to the left 1 unit. So positive shifts move us to the left, which means negative is going to move us to the right. So if we have x minus 1 squared, our parabola is going to move to the right instead. Well, we could go deeper into why this is the case to build an intuitive understanding. Today's a brief review, and so we're not going to go deep into the underlying mathematics. The next set of transformations are reflections. And so the reflections can be either vertical, which reflects up and down, so it's across the x-axis, or they can be horizontal, which reflects it from the left to the right, and this would be across our y-axis. So for these, let's say that our parent function, f of x, is now x cubed. So it's this nice little curving shape. If we transform our function by putting a negative on the outside, then what happens is this part comes down, and so we'll have, let's see, this part goes up, so we'll have it coming down and looking like this. Now suppose that we have our, let's do the square root function. So the square root of x. Our graph of this is just in the first quadrant. If we instead put a negative sign on the inside of our function, close to the x, it's going to be our horizontal reflection. It moves everything that was on the right to the left side. So now our function is in the second quadrant, pointing to the left rather than the right. Now, these are not all of the transformations. We have not spoken about the vertical or horizontal dilations, but for the unit that we're doing on exponential and logarithmic functions, we're going to be focusing mainly on translations and reflections.